So fantastic to have you here. You're a media expert and so a fascinating personality. Only one word, you're in the Hall of Fame, in the Digital Hall of Fame. So can you tell me please something about your personal story and about you?
Personal story, wow. I've spent most of my career in building out what is probably now a pretty big business and something that's pretty common, which is the digital media business. I entered the world of marketing and advertising really at the very beginning when people were thinking about these, what should we do with the space on a website? Should we create a banner ad? So I've been involved in it from literally the day one to now. And through that period, I've worked with, Interpublic, WPP, Publicis, on pretty much every major Fortune 100 brand, and working in some form or fashion on launching them in the digital space. I've launched several digital media agencies, such as Ansible, which is one of the leading mobile marketing agencies now. Reprise, and led several of the acquisitions for IPG, such as their investment in Facebook and Spongecell and a whole bunch of other things.
Thank you. So, and what do you do for a living right now?
Right. Well, so I left the big world of big time kind of digital advertising about 18 months ago to launch a company. I tend to do that every once in a while, where I'll be in a big company and then I'll leave and I'll work in a startup. And I launched a company called Qnary, with a Q, so Qnary, Qnary. And we're focused on working with individuals as well as businesses to optimize their digital footprints. So you can imagine what you look like in search, what you look like in social media, what you look like in content is absolutely critical. So we built a platform that essentially analyzes that footprint and then tells individuals and businesses what they need to change to optimize that for findability, reach, connecting to the things that they care about, as well as also kind of eliminating the downside, which is sometimes separating from the things that you don't want to be associated with.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds really great. And what advice would you give for people in the media industry?
In the media industry, in terms of reputation, or just in general,
in the digital
space?
Yeah.
Wow. I guess one of the key things would be to make sure that you're keeping kind of an open mind to all these new ideas, but also be aware, be very aware of the pace of change, so that you take advantage of these elements, you pull them in, and you kind of incorporate it into a way that really helps businesses move the needle from an advertising perspective. I think right now at least clients are getting sophisticated enough where they're not really interested just in kind of the next sexy little gadget. They really want to see digital solutions that move the needle, that really actually impact their businesses. And so kind of just tracking data for data's sake, not that interesting anymore. Let's do things that are really going to impact the business, which is really exciting for a media executive, because that means that they have to think about it from a scaled perspective.
Yeah.
Right? First time ever, right? Now it's really going to impact the business. And in terms of the areas that's impacting, it touches every area. In Europe, obviously, you guys have been living with the mobile revolution, so to speak, for much longer than the U.S. But that's only manifesting itself in a variety of new ways. I don't think we even talk about things I think people think of like mobile versus kind of online. It all kind of just seems all blurred together in this constant multi-screen environment. So it's thinking in a flexible manner in that regard.
And as you see it, what are the key success factors in the digital business in general?
Key success factors in the digital business in general. That's a pretty broad question. So I would say that when people are now thinking about digital, there are people are going to measure things in a million different ways. I again will come back to that fundamental thought of it's now digital has to be measured against effectiveness, really like a business effectiveness, not just kind of like hey, it's really interesting and it's nice. The big success stories are when a business goes from being popular, right? So every day there's a new site that launches that will suddenly generate several million followers, but will that business be able to translate and transition into a business model that actually delivers some type of a business value? That's the only way an advertiser and a media company have a relationship. If there's a way that they can both mutually benefit from the relationship and the consumer also benefits from that relationship. So I would say digital only works when it has those three things, those three tangibles together: the consumer benefit, the media company is benefiting, and then the advertiser is tied into that relationship in the appropriate manner. Now that being said, we have a whole generation of consumers that are coming up, and they don't necessarily see those the same traditional kind of constructs. So it's going to be a challenge to see how we scale models that they appreciate and value. Certainly I think they do appreciate it. They might not want to call it advertising, right? But we just need to find very clear ways to kind of break through. We've had this whole native advertising movement. Certainly there's a ton of content marketing that's happening. I don't know if I don't know if we've reached kind of a full fruition there yet, so how that's going to shape out. But yeah, I would say, I don't know if that fully answers your question, but it's kind of a broad question.
Yeah. So one sentence to the media landscape of the US. What trends we will see in the future? What's now?
So I would say that right now, this year has been heavily on kind of this emergence of the real-time marketing, from Oreo launching its big famous tweets at the Super Bowl, and so a lot of companies made this shift of investing real-time tracking and taking advantage of media opportunities. But now we've kind of shifted into this next phase of focus, which seems to be very much about programmatic media buying. Programmatic media buying is really the thing that people are shifting towards. That's been building for quite a while, which is that instead of buying against content, I'm really buying against audience, and I'm structuring the buy in an exchange-based format. That obviously was considered almost kind of remnant inventory, boring stuff for a long, long time. Now it's only going to be getting bigger and bigger. And I think that that's the big challenge. How does a media company differentiate itself in that type of an environment where there's a constant fear of, wait a minute, we're going to get commoditized? That will be the topic of the year for sure. Of the year for sure. Certainly, we have the noise of all these new things that are happening in terms of content, in terms of mobile. But in some ways, those are kind of like we're always going to have them. They're always going to be there. The fundamental shift that we're seeing in the market space is this programmatic buying shift.
So, thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Really